Hi, welcome to Dig Into China. I'm Dong Sean. Thank you for tuning in. Your support means the world and plays a crucial role in the YouTube algorithm. Liking, sharing, and subscribing not only show your support, but also help YouTube recommend my videos to a broader audience. Thank you very much. Let's delve into some of the major diplomatic challenges China is currently facing and explore Xi Jinping's diplomatic approaches. To begin, we'll discuss three recent news topics. On April 9th, Xi Jinping met with Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov at the Great Hall of the People. Xi Jinping highlighted the significance of this year, marking the 75th anniversary of diplomatic ties between China and Russia. He emphasized the collaborative journey the two nations have embarked upon, fostering a novel path of peaceful coexistence and cooperation as major neighbors. This alliance has not only benefited both countries and their citizens, but also has contributed wisdom and strength to international fairness and justice. Xi Jinping and President Putin have agreed to maintain close communication to ensure the smooth and stable progress of Sino-Russian relations. China stands firmly behind Russia's pursuit of a development path that aligns with its national circumstances and supports efforts to combat terrorism for the maintenance of social security and stability. China places a high value on the development of Sino-Russian relations and is committed to deepening bilateral communication, enhancing multilateral strategic cooperation within forums like BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and assuming greater responsibility on a global stage. Together with nations in the global south, China aims to drive the reform of the global governance system and guide the establishment of a community with a shared future for mankind. Xi Jinping's remarks underscore the current strength of Sino-Russian relations and outline their promising future prospects. This is the first news I want to share with you. According to a report by Nikkei News, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stated that it holds no interest in military rivalry and opposes the U.S. deployment of missiles. General Flynn, commander of the U.S. Army Pacific, recently mentioned in an interview with South Korea's Yonhap news agency that the U.S. plans to deploy Standard 6 air defense missiles and Tomahawk cruise missiles in the Asian Pacific region, withholding specific details of timing and locations. General Flynn also indicated that new intermediate-range land-based missiles will be stationed in Asia Pacific in 2024 as part of measures to deter Chinese aggressions towards Taiwan. Responding to this impactful international news on April 9th, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued an official statement. Spokesperson Mao Ning emphasized China's commitment to peaceful development, its firm pursuit of a defensive national defense policy, and its lack of interest in engaging in military competition with any nation. The third news item comes from April 8th, reported by the Financial Times. The headline reads, US, UK, and Australia say Japan could join part of AUKUS pact. According to the report, the US, UK, and Australia on Monday said that they were considering working with Japan on advanced technology projects in the trilateral AUKUS security pact aimed at boosting deterrence against China. The AUKUS defense ministers said they would consider bringing Japan into Pillar 2, the part of the security pact that focuses on advanced technology ranging from artificial intelligence and quantum computing to undersea capabilities and hypersonic weapons. Media outlets in Australia reported on April 9th that the Australian Prime Minister suggested that it may not happen as quickly. Additionally, the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded formally expressing a positive desire. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning issued an official response acknowledging the reports. She criticized the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia for disregarding the concerns of regional countries and the international community regarding nuclear proliferation risks. Mao Ning highlighted their continuous signaling of expanding the so-called trilateral security partnership and involving other nations, which she believes exacerbates military competition in the Asia-Pacific region and disrupts regional peace and stability. China expresses grave concerns over this and opposed the formation of exclusive cliques and the creation of confrontational blocs by relevant countries. She emphasized that Japan in particular should learn from historical lessons and exercise caution in military security matters. This collection of diplomatic news is highly representative, offering insight into Xi Jinping's diplomatic approach and the strategies in navigating the complexities of the current international landscape. Here are my takeaways. First, let's tackle a straightforward question. What benefits has China's diplomacy brought to the country, or has it improved China's external environment? Diplomacy serves China's development. To answer this question, there are two versions or two sets of answers. The first set of answers originates from the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, providing its own evaluation of Xi Jinping's diplomatic strategy and methods. How does the Foreign Ministry assess Xi Jinping's diplomatic approach? Foreign Minister Wang Yi's most notable response is, Xi Jinping's diplomatic ideology is 300 years ahead of the West. It seems Minister Wang's calculation is very precise, not a lead of 250 years, but precisely 300 years ahead. This calculation notably lacks a modeling basis. Since he mentioned specific timeframes, one would expect some form of a model. However, he offers no substantiation, but rather reflects a sort of dogmatic conclusion. It's good simply because it's good, without any explanation. How does Chinese society view Xi Jinping's diplomatic efforts? In reality, the Chinese Communist Party has recognized in recent authoritative resolutions that China's external environment has become increasingly hostile. This suggests that China's diplomatic efforts have not improved its situation, given the worsening environment. However, it's implicit in the CCP's resolutions that the deteriorating external environment is due to factors beyond the party's control, shifting all responsibility onto external entities. This represents the party's formal stance, acknowledging the deteriorating environment while absolving itself of any blame. The third aspect of evaluating China's diplomacy involves both domestic and international public opinion, which shares a common perception: wolf warrior diplomacy. While wolf warrior diplomacy finds resonance among some Chinese nationalists portraying assertiveness, verbal attacks, and ideological struggle as justifiable, it carries a tone reminiscent of the Cultural Revolution. However, in broader international discourse, wolf warrior diplomacy is generally seen as counterproductive. Hence, the overall sentiment suggests that while the official stance of the CCP acknowledges the deteriorating external environment, it does not admit to causing it. In contrast, both Chinese public opinion and international discourse commonly attribute the worsening external environment to the CCP's flawed diplomatic policies. Wolf warrior diplomacy itself has undermined China's external environment, bringing negative consequences. Diplomacy is meant to foster a favorable environment and resolve conflicts, yet the CCP's diplomacy not only fails to mitigate the conflicts, but also exacerbates them, creating difficulties for China. Therefore, this provides an initial overall impression and evaluation of Xi Jinping's diplomatic ideology and strategies, which may spark debate. Different perspectives arise from different standpoints. Secondly, from the three news items mentioned above, it's evident that besides the assertive wolf warrior approach and the grandiose moments, Xi Jinping's diplomacy also reflects a low-quality, intellectually deficient, and entertainment-focused aspect of Chinese diplomacy. It often fails to differentiate between urgent and minor matters, addressing all issues with a dramatic wolf warrior tone and an entertaining, gossipy style. Consider the significance of the two news items we shared today. Both are of paramount importance to China. Firstly, the United States plan to deploy intermediate-range missiles in the Asia-Pacific region near China's borders raises crucial questions. Globally, there's a considerable attention on Russia's strong objection to the US deploying such missiles near its borders, leading to prolonged negotiations between the two nations. In light of Mao Ning's response to the US missile deployment, it seems China is adopting a non-interventionist stance, indicating a reluctance to engage in competition. Essentially, China's response suggests your deployment is your affair. We won't interfere. Consider this perspective as completely disregarding China's national security interests, characterized by a simplistic and low IQ approach. The deployment of intermediate-range missiles by the United States in the Asia-Pacific region fundamentally disrupts the existing strategic balance, which is a basic arithmetic. Why isn't the United States concerned about China? Because if China were to launch missile attacks, the United States would have ample time to respond. However, with the deployment of intermediate-range missiles around China, the distance to Beijing is now minutes away, drastically reducing response time. Therefore, the US deployment of such missiles represents a revolutionary shift in China's security landscape, signaling a severe deterioration in China's external environment. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs should adopt a stance much more serious and forceful than Mao Ning's, which currently appears dismissive and unwilling to engage in an arms race. Perhaps Mao Ning hasn't fully comprehended the gravity of deploying intermediate-range missiles. This underscores the low quality and entertainment-oriented nature of Chinese diplomacy. Secondly, regarding the expansion of AUKUS to include Japan, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning's response was one of opposition, dismissing the idea as cobbling together small circles and appearing disdainful. This reflects the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs' low-quality and entertainment-oriented approach. AUKUS, a military alliance aimed at countering China, primarily focuses on nuclear submarines. However, Mao Ning's reaction seems to trivialize the matter, treating it as insignificant clique formation and petty actions. Therefore, when observing the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs responding so casually to major international events and significant security issues concerning China, it doesn't indicate confidence, but rather ignorance of the matter's significance. Undoubtedly, Xi Jinping highly values the aggressive demeanor of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the ignorance displayed by Mao Ning, favoring such an approach. This underscores the extent of degradation in China's diplomacy. Thirdly, there are two glaring failures in Xi Jinping's diplomacy which have contributed to the deteriorating external environment for China. These shortcomings stem from two primary reasons. The first major reason is that Xi Jinping has actively challenged the United States, initiating a confrontation with the West, thereby disrupting the foundation of China's external environment built over the past 3 decades. Some may argue that it wasn't Xi Jinping who provoked these tensions. Rather, it was the United States recognizing China's challenge to its hegemony and responding with suppression. However, this narrative overlooks the fact that when Xi Jinping first assumed power, there were no provocations. The West was embracing China with open arms. It was Xi Jinping who made remarks such as, "Some countries are just full of themselves. Western countries are just full of themselves, meddling in our affairs. China neither exports revolution, nor poverty and hunger, nor does it disturb others. So what more is there to say?" Doesn't this assertive stance indicate hostility? Prior to his presidency, Xi Jinping didn't harbor such animosity toward the West. However, upon taking office, he immediately advocated for the 4 confidence: confidence in the path, theory, system, and culture. The notion of confidence in the system has ignited competition between different governing systems. Before Xi Jinping's presidency, the Chinese Communist Party didn't actively seek to compete with the West. Deng Xiaoping advocated for a strategy of keeping a low profile and emphasized leveraging the peaceful environment for China's development without displaying its strength. However, upon assuming power, Xi Jinping emphasized China's competitive advantage in its system. Shortly thereafter, he became even more assertive, proclaiming that the time and the momentum are on our side amidst unprecedented global changes. These words and actions reflect a deliberate provocation characterized by arrogance and recklessness. Xi Jinping has set the fundamental tone of China's diplomacy, a reluctance to pursue peaceful coexistence. The second significant reason is that Xi Jinping has aligned himself with historical wrongs. If Putin had not initiated war in Ukraine, the Chinese Communist Party would still have had some ambiguous space in the international community, allowing for a degree of ambiguity between good and evil. However, Putin's actions in Ukraine have implicated the CCP. It has lost its moral ambiguity. Now it is associated with the aggressor. Therefore, when Xi met with the Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov a few days ago and spoke of both countries contributing to international justice and peace, it rings hollow. How can there be justice and peace when Russia is an armed aggressor against Ukraine, condemned by the vast majority of countries in 2 open votes at the United Nations General Assembly? Even Putin himself has become a subject of international law enforcement. Yet, Xi Jinping continues to claim an unlimited relationship with Russia. Despite retracting this statement under international pressure, Xi Jinping has not ceased to publicly display affection and solidarity with Putin on the international stage. By aligning with the wrong side, the CCP has sacrificed its strategic interests in maintaining ambiguity. So from today's 3 diplomatic news pieces, we can grasp a deeper understanding. China's current diplomacy under the CCP has entered a deadlock. Xi Jinping has, in essence, created immense difficulties for himself and dug a massive hole for Chinese diplomacy. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.